I always keep my rods made up, even when I'm stickleback fishing. It means that when you arrive at the water's edge, you can be fishing in far less time than if you've got to do all the setup each time that you go. Plus, when it's very, very, very cold, that's always a big positive as well. It's been very slow, but look at the size of that. I'm going to weigh it, and I would not be surprised if that tops 4 grams. 4.5. Fantastic fish. Quality over quantity this morning, I think. If you're a non-angler or even a fisherman, you're probably thinking 4.5 grams. That's not worth getting excited about, is it? But as I so often say, it's all about the venue, it's all about the fish even, not just necessarily a standalone weight. And when you consider that the British record is just 8 grams, that is a monster fish indeed. That's what you call a specimen. Back home now, and the first cup of tea of the day. No flask when I'm stickleback fishing, because I have a minimal amount of tackle, and you're not in one spot necessarily for too long either, because where I fish it's very, very shallow, and the sticklebacks themselves are found in deeper sections, deeper relatively speaking, so you have to try and locate where they will be. And then when you've caught a few, it does go quiet. They do tend to get wary after a few of them have been plucked from the water, and then you move on somewhere else. I had one fish that came off, and then the one that you saw. It's a fine line sometimes, isn't it, between success and failure, although let me use those words in inverted commas. When I got back home, we live on a slope, so the drive is on a slope, the car is on a slope, and I put my crook lock on, and then as I was getting ready to come out of the car, I thought it was the alarm had gone off in the car. So I thought, and it was really loud, and I thought I need to maybe start the engine just to see if I can immobilize this sound. It was still quite early as well, because I was out at first light, which is 6:30 now, and I didn't have that long either, because as I've said, the opportunities to fish are quite limited. So I lifted the crook lock up, and as I did, the sound went. It was actually the weight of the crook lock on that part of the steering wheel where the horn is, which is of course very sensitive. But by then, people were looking out the windows. I could see them where I lived. I could see them looking out the windows, curtains, blinds, and looking up and down to see what's going on. So I just kept my head down a little bit and cleaned my phone and just cleaned around the car where I was, the steering wheel, the gear stick, etc., just to let the people go back in, because nothing was out there. Then when it was all clear, I went in. My wife said, "What was that noise?" I said, "Well," and I told her the story, and she said to me, "Actually, I thought you were behind it in some way, shape or form." Initially, she thought someone was coming down the street, was blocked by something, and was on the horn. Where we live, by the way, is extremely quiet. So what happened this morning will no doubt be a big talking point for a lot of people. "Did you hear that noise this morning?" They'll be saying to themselves. "I don't know what it was. I looked out the window, nothing was there. There was no one there." Anyway, that was my embarrassing moment for the day. But I'm not really focused on that. What I am thinking about and focused on is that 4.6 gram stickleback.